Welcome to Dirt Diaries, the podcast where the women of agriculture get real. From muddy boots to boardrooms, we're digging into the unfiltered stories of the FarmHERs, ranchers, and every her shaping the future of ag. This isn't just shop talk, it's real talk. We're covering career paths, big wins, hard lessons, and everything in between. So whether you live it every day or you're just ag curious, pop in your earbuds and get ready. These are the raw, inspiring, and wildly relatable conversations you won't hear anywhere else. Let's dig in. I had the absolute joy of sitting down with one of my good friends, Janie Johnson Finlay, someone who I've shared the screen with, traveled dusty roads alongside, and swapped more stories with her than I can count. You probably know Janie from her time as the host of RanchHER, where she traveled across the country spotlighting some of the most incredible women in ag. But today, she's in a new season of life, one that involves bottles, baby snuggles, and raising her own little rancher. We talk about all of it: motherhood, marriage, rodeo life, ranch life, and what it's like to balance a passion for storytelling with the daily reality of keeping animals and toddlers alive. Janie has this way of being completely herself, unfiltered, hilarious, and full of wisdom. Whether we're talking about long days on the road or long nights with a newborn, her honesty is what makes this episode so special. So pour yourself a cup of coffee, find a quiet spot if that's even possible, and settle in. You're about to hear one of my favorite conversations. Let's dig in with Janie. Okay, we're going to dive in here on the Dirt Diaries. Joining me now is Janie Johnson Finlay. Ba-dum-bum-bum. I just had to do that for you because one of my good friends, but also host of RanchHER, who is not hosting this season because she is a new mom to sweet baby Olivia.
Aw, thank you. I love the intro. I even like being introed as a mom. That's kind of fun and different.
Happy like late Mother's Day. Your first one.
Thank you so much. It was good. Ate lots of steak, RanchHER.
Yeah, RanchHER. There you go. Okay, we are going to play games. We're going to do lots of things, but we're going to kind of dive into it a little bit. All of our viewers, they know you, Janie. I mean, you come from this great legacy of a ranching family, rodeo family. You're out in Canyon, Texas with your husband, Jake. Your family's out there. And now, like I said, sweet baby Olivia. You were the host of RanchHER last season. You couldn't come do that this season because, again, you're a new mom. But you're still working. You're making it all happen. And you're living kind of your ranch life dreams. Talk about that.
Oh, well, I don't know if making it all happen is the right word.
You are.
Every day is a different day. It's a balance. I had the baby and then kind of hit the ground running after that. I did Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, which was really exciting. Got to do some TV for them, and it was really fun. It was kind of a lifelong dream of mine to get to be a part of that rodeo. So,
that's a long time. Like, tell us, like, you're there for a few weeks, right? Or like at least
20. It's 20 perfs. We're doing one next year, and so basically, I just said, this is a dream, and Livy loves to travel now. So I just threw her in the car. My mom came, my husband came, the whole family came, and we just made it work. But I kind of grew up around rodeo, and that's how I grew up. And, it worked for me. I'm a little biased. I like to travel and go to different events, and I've been doing it since I was a little kid. And I think it works for our schedule to make it count whenever you go, and then you come home and you make it work there. Every day's different, and it's not a normal life in the way that the schedule's never the same, but you just adapt, and it's been good. But being here at the ranch, I think this is the longest I've ever been home in my life.
I was going to say that I feel like, again, you're busy out on the ranch now, but how nice is it to finally enjoy the land and your guys' place out there and the property? It's so beautiful.
At first, it was really different, but now you feel kind of like you're in it more versus getting home from being gone all the time and kind of in a panic to catch up with everything. Like, I've been gone. What did I miss? Where's this? Where's that? Things are like a little bit more together when you're in it every single day. So it's been beautiful. I swear if we were going to make postcards, everybody would want to move to Canyon, Texas right now. Versus, about a month ago, we had one of the largest windstorms in history of Canyon, or I don't know if that's a fact, but it was just insane. It looked like we were just in a tornado for a week. And so, the weather here is crazy. It'll snow and then it'll rain and then it'll be, 70 and beautiful. And But lately it's been beautiful, and Olivia and I go outside every day, and we've got a lot of sick calves right now. We've had so much rain, getting ready.
Is that because of the weather?
It is a little bit because of the weather, and then we kind of had some stuff in the ground that was maybe making them sick because they were like drinking some of the water from the rain out of the ground. And so it was making them sick. And then we're getting ready for branding season. And so you've been to our branding.
It's fun.
Episode. Branding is fun. And it'll be Livy's first branding. So, got to get her a hat.
Yeah. Got to get her a hat.
Yeah. So we're just kind of trying to live in the ranch life a little bit. I've got a lot to catch up on. I feel like I learned so much on the RanchHER season that now I'm like, oh, okay, well, on this episode, so-and-so does this. And so I drive my family.
So we can do that here. Yeah.
I drive my family crazy because I'm always talking about, like, on this RanchHER episode, we did this. And they're like, okay, enough about, we get it.
We get it. We can't do all of that right now at once at the ranch. And Jake's been busy. Jake's been busy rodeoing. So, and you guys have gotten to go to some. I know you also sidelined a little bit at San Angelo, I think, for the final. Did you? Yeah. But like Jake was there with his baby Bjorn, carrying Livy, so you, again, out on the road, how has that kind of changed for you? Because out on the road, you have worked. You've also got to be the wife and the mom out on the road. I mean, has anything really changed though? Or is it just an added bonus, having her with you guys?
I think anybody who's ever had a kid maybe has experienced their own version of mom guilt at some point. You feel guilty when you leave to go to work because then you leave them there, or you have to have somebody to help you, whether it's my mom or whether it's like, hey, Jake, I need you to just carry this baby around in the baby carrier for the day because I got to go, interview happy winter people at the rodeo. And you feel guilty about that. But then you also kind of need to get that time for yourself, and you need to feel like you're achieving something in some way, whether it's, stuff on the ranch or, I love my job. I really do love interviewing. I love talking and just getting to experience those big moments with people. And so it makes me better, I would say. I'm more present, when I come back. Livy gets like the best of me versus kind of like this zombie version of me all day, whenever you don't sleep. But honestly, it's like it's a good support group. Jake is hilarious. He loves that little girl so much. And so that's really fun to see. I didn't actually think he was going to like the baby carrier. That's what I got him for his birthday, because that's the kind of gifts you get when you become a parent. You don't get cool gifts anymore. You get baby gifts. So that was his birthday present, and he just bebops around with Livy. He had her behind the bucking chutes, and I'm like, Jake, get behind. Don't bring her behind the bucking chutes. She's an infant. And he's like, she's fine. She likes it.
She's fine. She's right here.
Yeah, he's like, she likes it. But that's been really fun to see. And since I'm not going as much, I'm not as overkill. Like, I'm not as overwhelmed as maybe I used to be. But it's definitely, a learning experience. She started sleeping in the pack and play in the hotel room. So that's a win.
Ooh, that's a win. Speaking of sleep, I know you. Okay, so a little backstory too for our, the listeners on Real Radio, on the podcast platforms. But Janie and I obviously have worked together for quite some time. We've got to do serious work. We've got to do fun work. Tailgate show is always fun. But I have always said this about you. I think you are one of the best sideline reporters. For me, you are my favorite. You know rodeo so well, but just the stock, the people in it. I just love your interviews because it's so heartfelt, and the questions you ask are not, just your typical questions. I just think they're in depth and they're great. But aside from that, we're friends. Like, we just went on a bachelorette party together, and that was fun. And I'm loving the season you're in of being a mom. I think it's you and Jake have always been so funny. And as parents, you're like funny too. And by that, I just mean they're witty, like they're lighthearted, they're caring. I don't know. I just like the jokes that you guys have in your relationship and the dynamic. And I just think this is a really cool season for you. Although I'm sad that I'm proud to take over RanchHER and host, the show and the amazing women we get to talk to. But obviously I miss working with you right now. Hopefully we can work together in the future. But yeah, I just like this season of life you're in. I think it's really cool and special.
It is. And I like the word season because it really is different. Like, everyone, you know, you have this baby and you think, oh, I'm never going to leave the house ever again. I'm never going to do this ever again. And then you get the next phase and each week is different and then she grows. And then you're sad because she's not tiny anymore. And so it is seasonal and I'm trying to soak it all in. Jake is hilarious. Like you said, he's an absolute mess. Had to kick him out of the house so he wouldn't like bomb our podcast episode. Because he likes to embarrass me and he's not allowed on TV anymore. And so, but you know, Kirby, you're the OG rancher. You know, you were the original first season. Like I said,
I did, yeah.
So it
but
was you.
I'm glad you came on and talk about that more. Again, before we play all the games I have on our beautiful note cards, talk about filming your season of Rancher, because I think you went to some really remote and really cool places. Talk about that.
Yeah, it was really funny. Every time we would be kind of in a situation that the crew would be, you know, very remote is like an understatement.
Yeah.
Some of the places that we went. And I'd be like, I can't blame anybody but myself for this situation because I signed up for this. But it was awesome. Like, we wanted to get the most epic, the most intense stuff that we could find. And, you know, I'll never forget, of course, our season premiere when we went to Oregon. That was, I mean, I just think that episode is just so memorable. I'll remember that forever. And I think people who have watched it remember it the most. I think that's maybe people's most memorable episode just because of this group of women that nobody gets to see. They're not on social media. They're not on any kind of platform like that. They don't really get to go to town. They are in the middle of these beautiful, insane mountains in Oregon. And I mean, just not even really much of a town. And they're incredible. They're so smart and hardworking. I've never met a human being that was as hardworking as those women. Not just women, but humans. Like, they were incredible. And so I feel like people watched it and they're like, wow, like, that is what people are really doing. People really do this on a daily basis and they're so skilled at what they do. And anyways, I could go on and on about all of the women, but that episode really sticks with me just because it was so intense. And I remember the crew every hour, they'd be like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. It's only one day. They're like,
I mean, how did you find them? Because they are so remote. Did you know them before? Did somebody connect you?
Yes, somebody connected me. Butch Knowles, we all know Knowles, we love him. His wife, Mary Knowles, who is also an incredible cowgirl. She didn't want to be in an episode because she didn't want to be on TV, even though I'm pretty sure all of Butch's skills and TV skills come from Mary, if I was going to be honest. But Mary wasn't sure she wanted to do an episode, but she's like, I'll find somebody for you. And kind of like the ranching culture in a lot of Oregon is, you know, the cattle go out into the mountains and then they have to go do kind of like a big, honestly, sometimes it's like a month long where they're trying to bring them out of the mountains to bring them in. And so a lot of the culture is like that. And it's a lot of a BLM land and things like that. And things I had to learn about, you know, things I didn't really know about in Texas so much. We don't have that culture as much because of, you know, different government setups in different states. And anyways, so that's how she got me connected. And you can imagine what it's like whenever they're like not on social media to try to get in contact. They have no cell phone service anywhere.
Because you all didn't have cell phone service out there, right? Like I don't think it worked out like because of the weather conditions, but you were supposed to like stay intense, or maybe you did. I don't know. I mean, it was pretty.
Yeah, there's so much behind the scenes that it's, you know, Kirby, you go to these places, you're there for 2 to 3 days, and you just feel like you're in a movie yourself, and then it all gets cut down to about 25 minutes, and you're like, that's it?
That's it? Oh, trust me. Right? That actually, I like this, us talking behind the scenes, because we feel like we don't do a good job telling the people we're having on. And we've been trying to adjust that obviously over the years, but hey, we're with you all day long, but just think about maybe, and we really are filming for like 12 hours a day. And you only take about maybe 10 to 12 minutes of that day. And they're like, what? And I'm like, how do they pick? I don't know. We have a great team. We have great staff, very, very creative, but it's kind of crazy. Like you can do a 6 to 8 hour cattle drive and there's so much that happens during that. But we're like, that can only be one segment and that can only be 4 minutes. And I'm like, how do you cut 6 to 8 hours in 4 minutes from, it's wild. And the people are cool. It's just, you're right. The behind the scenes is insane.
You cut so much good stuff because it doesn't necessarily fit into the story, because you got to get the story in a clean, crisp way. And the editing process I'm sure is absolutely insane, but it's also, it's frustrating because you're trying to capture a person's day as well as like their life all in one short episode. But it's also really exciting and it's good because there is a lot of, I think people maybe who have been in ranching know this. It's not like Yellowstone. There is a lot of mundanity in ranching and farming. That's why not everybody does it, because you are, in the tractor all day long from sun up to sundown. And that's not always exciting, but somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to feed the world. Somebody's got to push cattle every single day for 2 months out of the mountains to try to get them in. And it is... And so it's a lot happening, and then it's also not a lot happening. And I think that's, it's just hard to capture it all. But yeah.
It is, and we're asking a lot of people in like those 2 days. That's typically what we give ourselves to go out to a place. But we're asking a lot of people in those 2 days to show everything they do. And sometimes they're like, we do a lot. But like you said, some days are just being in the tractor because, they're getting ready to, or they're harvesting a field, and like that takes all day. And so we're like, no, do all these different activities because we want to show basically your life in 25 minutes, and in 2 days. And they're like, oh my gosh. And we actually have gotten so many great people who have been willing participants of that.
Sure. But it's also like the culture of ranching and farming is also hard because there are people that aren't always used. Sometimes we get people that like they're real advocates for ag and they're used to speaking about it and being real public. And I love that we get those people. And then I like the contrast of the people that, like I said, aren't on social media that no one would ever know exists. I love having both, because you need the advocates. I like to use that word. And then you need the behind the scenes hidden characters, that need to be represented in the world. So it's hard to get those people to agree. Those are the ones I've had to really, really talk a lot of people into this. I'm not going to lie.
Especially on your episode, because you got a lot of people that are, and I'm going to say this, hardcore ranchers. And so I'm sure you had to kind of do some convincing and persuasion.
I had to keep myself from looking like an idiot most of the time, because I'd show up and they'd be like, oh, well, you grew up on a ranch. I'm like, not like this. And, I haven't spent my life ranching. I grew up on a ranch and I was involved in it. But, I went off to college. I went and did Cowboy Channel. I went and did, I lived in Fort Worth. You know this.
Yeah.
You on it, but you don't live it
every farm
every day. We don't. They do. And it's like, no, I do not want to appear like I know anything, because I don't. I want to learn from them. And that was, you look like an idiot when you do that sometimes. And I'm sure I did many times in the episode, but that was okay.
Yeah, it's about them, right? And that's the thing. That's the cool thing with our jobs too. And you and I've talked about this before, is like being a storyteller for other people. So rewarding, right? Being able to, whether you're on the rodeo trail, we did that together for a while too. But I mean, like sharing the wins and losses with people and telling their stories. Oh gosh, it's so, so rewarding.
No, I agree. And it's almost freeing for you to kind of like let go of what you look like, what you think about yourself, which I know like TV, it comes with that, but it was freeing to me to be like, I don't care if I just, rolled in the dirt across the way. This is about you. Like, get the camera off of me, go to them. I'm just here to like facilitate the story. And that was
most definitely. Okay. One thing that I wanted to bring up, because with motherhood, work, all these things, time is of essence. And one thing about Janie Johnson is she likes her sleep. And we all know, I don't know yet, but being a new mom, I mean, you don't get to sleep that much, and you are very good about making sure you get your sleep. It's so healthy for you, by the way. So I've tried to take notes from you, but how's that going?
You're probably the only person in the world that would consider my sleeping habits like healthy or congratulate me on them. Everyone else is like, seriously, you're sleeping? I love to sleep. I love to nap. I don't get to nap. I never really do nap, but if I got a rare chance, I love it. And no, I haven't gotten a lot, but I don't know. I feel like Livy's the best baby I've ever had. So She's actually gotten where she sleeps in her crib, which is just an absolute miracle. I don't know. I genuinely think just every kid is different. And I think I just got lucky with this one. She got where she did not want to, she was in her bassinet. And then she went through a period of time where she'd only sleep for like 15 minutes at a time. And I thought, oh my God. Well, through this. Take me back to the teepee in Nevada. And then she just didn't want to be in the bassinet anymore. And I'm just, silly mom. Just took me a little bit to figure it out.
Just switch her on over. Over to the crib. I love that she's sleeping more, especially for you, because I know I love that you value it. It's good. Again, it is healthy.
I can't function. Kirby, you were the most highly functioning, non-sleeping person I've ever met. I mean, it's just I'm impressed by you.
Well, if you met my grandma, she's the same way. My dad's mom, she isn't a sleeper. So I think it's a genetic thing. It's very weird.
Yeah, because Livy likes to sleep. She sleeps 12 hours. So I'm like, that a girl.
That a girl. You know what's good for you. Okay, we're going to play some games now. And obviously, the team here behind Dirt Diaries. It's Holly and Jenna. And they have worked very hard on all of these and kind of some fun questions. So we've got quite a few. But now we're going to just start fresh off with Break the Ice. So these will kind of be just more original, generic. But what is your guilty pleasure?
Ice cream. Oh, am I supposed to be really with these answers?
Yeah, it's however you want. Yeah.
Fire or ice cream?
Ice cream. Okay.
Dessert.
What is your favorite condiment to use in excess?
Ketchup. Always. I put ketchup on everything. Especially when I was a kid. Yeah, I know it's. Yeah, I know your face is shocked, like you're traumatized.
I actually am. I think you made Holly throw up over here.
Ketchup. I used to put ketchup on vegetables. I mean, it was bad. I've got.
You put on everything. Okay.
Steak, terrible. I don't need more, and I would never on a rancher episode at somebody's house.
Yeah. Oh, never, ever do that. Something that makes you laugh, even though it could be immature or silly or weird, but what's something that always makes you laugh?
Jake.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I was going to answer that for you. I was like, Jake makes me laugh every time. I just saw him, earlier when we started walking behind the background, I just started laughing because he's
Jake
funny.
Just doing ridiculous things, and he's just so funny. I'm laughing thinking about him.
It's so great. If you could participate on one reality TV series, which one would that be?
Oh, I don't watch reality TV, so I don't even know if I could participate.
Okay, I'll give you some options. Like there's Survivor, Amazing Race, American Idol, The Voice, Bachelor, which Jake might not appreciate that. The Real Housewives of Canyon, maybe?
Oh, no, I think in another life it would have been really fun to go on The Bachelor.
Yeah.
Like pre-married time, or to be the Bachelorette. Like I think that would be fun.
I love that.
Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Bachelorette at one point in our life, right?
Exactly. One thing people may be surprised to know about you.
Maybe what you said before, that I really like to sleep a lot.
Yeah, actually, because you're just a busy person.
Because I'm such a goer.
Yeah.
I'm such a goer. I'm such a high energy person. And they're like, what do you mean you have to I'm like, yeah, that's why. That's why.
Gotta sleep. We gotta sleep. If you could only watch one movie for the rest of your life, what movie would that be?
Oh, I love Gone with the Wind.
Oh.
That really surprises people. That was maybe my one thing that people don't know about me is like I'm an absolute movie junkie. Like film. I was a film school. School. People don't know that. People think broadcast. They think ranching, rodeo. Nah, I was all about film critic stuff. I went to school to be like a film critic. Like I love films.
Which I think's really cool.
I'm a real nerd because I call it a film and not a movie. But yes. And so like Gone with the Wind is my like original, and it's 4 hours long. So if you have to only watch one movie forever, at least you got a lot of hours to work with.
Hey, good point there. Okay. We are going to move on to some other questions now. And this is from camera gear to car seats. This is a compare, if I could talk, and contrast game about like your TV life versus mom life. So filming sunrise B-roll versus 3 a.m. feedings.
Oh, very similar. 3 a.m. feedings, you're up with the baby. Sunrise shooting, you're with the crew. Might as well be with the baby.
Literally, might as well be with the baby.
No,
they're like our little babies.
The crew is incredible. I just give them a hard time.
Interview prep versus diaper bag prep.
Oh, are you asking like which one I would choose?
Yeah.
Interview prep. The diaper bag is easy. Interview prep is quiet time, and I don't get a lot of that. I don't have a lot of time to just sit around and not do any, like just sit around with your notebook and your thoughts.
Very nice. RanchHER road trips versus Target runs.
Target runs are easier. Those road trips are tough, especially when you're on a dirt road for 2 hours. We did a couple shows where we were on a dirt road for 2 hours.
I could agree with that.
And they were like, this is the longest dirt road I've ever experienced in my entire life.
Who knew? I just think they stopped paving things and we're like, well, we're just out here on the land.
Yeah.
Wearing boots on camera versus wearing spit up in real life.
Yeah, weird. The spit up thing, I don't even notice it. It doesn't even affect me. Just, whatever.
It's just there.
Yeah, no.
Don't even notice it.
When you're a mom, there is just like no vanity anymore.
Hey, it's a humbling experience from what I've been told.
Absolutely. Absolutely it is. Like what I don't even notice it.
Well, and speaking of Olivia, Little RanchHER lessons. So, this is just more about obviously you and Olivia and just reflecting on your life. And you have such great and amazing parents and a support system. And I know they've passed a lot of great things down to you. But what's one lesson you have learned on the ranch that you hope you can pass down to Olivia?
Something that I heard the other day, and it kind of sticks with me, and I feel like it really relates to ranching. And it's like, as a parent, I find myself like with Libby telling her like, oh, you're so beautiful. You're so smart. You're so this and that. And I heard something like, it's really important to tell your kids, not necessarily that they're smart, but that they're hardworking, that they've worked hard to be smart. You're not just naturally this way. And I feel like that really relates to the ranch. It's like, you can be great at ranching or whatever, but no one's naturally that way. You have to work hard to be that way. And so that's kind of what she's just a baby. So she's obviously not working that hard, but I tell her that all the time. My parents will be like, you're so smart. And I go, you're a hard worker, Olivia. You really try hard. And my parents are like, that's the weirdest thing ever to say to a baby. I'm like, I'm just starting now. So that way, whenever she's older, it's instilled in her that you're never going to be great at everything, but if you work towards something, then that's how you get good at it.
Exactly. No, you're exactly right.
I feel like that's very much with the ranch. Like nobody's people have more natural abilities, sure, but
yeah, there's some like naturally like athletic people, but they have to work to be the best at that sport or at the game, right?
Yeah, that's how it is with taking care of livestock or, no one naturally unless it's Kirby, no one naturally wakes up at 5 a.m. to go feed. You probably do, but most people have to work at that.
Yeah, well, and again, maybe it's just that is my one natural quality that I think I got. Like I could just wake up if I needed to. What's a strong woman outside, obviously, of yourself that you hope she can look up to and take some qualities from?
Oh, I have so many amazing, strong women in my life, but one that like immediately comes to mind is Jimmy Monroe. Yeah. Who is just like one of my heroes in life. She's, obviously for people who don't know who Jimmy Monroe is, she's a world champion, barrel racer, roper. She was the WPRA president for over 20 years. And she's also just got the best attitude of anybody I've ever been around.
She does have such a great attitude.
Yeah. I mean, beyond her accomplishments, she's just this amazing attitude towards everybody all the time, no matter what she's going through. And I really admire that.
That's sweet. I like that. What RanchHER means to you now as a mom?
Oh, Kirby, I've wanted to call so many of my ranchers to be like, okay, now that I have a kid, how did you do this? Because they all had kids. Not every single one of them, but so many of them have had kids since the episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like the Phillips episode, Mickey Phillips, she had a baby like a month before me. And then Lindsay from the Matitsi Ranch, ranch, she had a baby. It's actually wild. Like a lot of us had babies at the same time, but I want to, and I message, like, we kind of stay in touch via, use social media, you kind of message back and forth. Yeah. But no, RanchHER as a mom's perspective, it has opened my eyes, and I wouldn't mind doing another season of just experiencing that from a different perspective. Cause I remember being pregnant.
Yeah. Wait, talk about that for a second. You were pregnant halfway through the season.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was challenging.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, like, I would be tired or sick. I
was so sick. I was so sick in the teepee. Very sick in the teepee. That sounds like a TV show. Sick in the teepee. But yeah, we were at the ranch, the YP ranch, at the YP ranch, which is in the Nevada-Idaho border.
Yeah.
In the teepee, camping out, and I was throwing up outside of the teepee. And I told Renee, our rancher, because I just didn't want them to think that, I was lower energy. I mean, I wasn't, but, I just told her because, like, she has 3 kids. And she was just so good, but it did change my line of questioning on a lot of things. It makes you think a lot about, like, how do you pass this lifestyle on to your kids? How hard is this? How much more does it like mean whenever you have that family? And it did kind of change my perspective even when I was pregnant. And a whole new, like, did you go out and ride? Did you go out and do all this when you were feeling horrible? Whenever, you had this kid on your hip? And most of them do. And I don't know how they do it. You could do like a whole mystery themed series on that, because women in ranching are amazing. And I don't know how they do it, because the theme that I think we see a lot throughout FarmHER and RanchHER, whether they have kids or not, is they take care of everybody.
Everybody and everything, from the land to the animals to the people, right?
They take care of everything. Women just have this like sense of caring that, I'm not saying men don't care for people or take care of people. Of course they do, but women, they just have their hands in everything, making sure everybody's okay and never thinking about themselves.
It's so true. Also, going off subjects, this is what I do sometimes, especially with you being pregnant. You were so pregnant at the NFR. I was like, she's going to have this baby here.
I know. I can't believe I didn't have the baby. I thought I was going to have the baby at the NFR multiple times.
Hey, congratulations. You just won a gold buckle. But guess what? I got to go. My water broke.
I wasn't going on the stage for those world champion interviews. I'll tell you that. I told Kate Lucas from the beginning, I was like, it is all you, girl. I am cheering for you. I'm not waddling up there. No way. I was really glad that I did the NFR. It was something that I didn't want to miss. It was my 10-year anniversary. I worked NFR for 10 years, and I wasn't going to stay at home. I knew I would have lost my mind staying at home. But yeah, there was a couple times where I'd get home that night. I'd be like, I think it's going to happen. I think I'm going to have this baby. And Jake would be like, seriously? I'm like, I don't know. No, I didn't end up having the baby till 3 weeks later, January.
That was the wild thing. So many people would text, and like everyone, I stopped texting Janie, and I would text like Carly Peterson, like, and Tassie too. Monroe. I would be like, any update? Like, I don't want to bother her. And then I'd be having family members and other people text me like, has Janie had her baby? Because everyone was just like, wait, how has she not had her baby yet?
People were texting me and they're like, hey, I'm sure you haven't wanted to share, your baby. I hope you're getting those snuggles. I'm like, no, I haven't had the baby yet. I'm not like keeping this a secret. People just thought I just had the baby and kept it a secret.
Like, no, it's still in here. It's still in here.
That was wild. I never want to have to be that pregnant again at Vegas.
In Vegas, of all places.
What a place, right? Yeah, I got an Airbnb instead of a hotel because it was supposed to be better. And it was better for being pregnant. But boy, not nearly as much fun.
No.
I didn't see anybody. I was just like in and out. Hi at the rodeo, and then I was gone.
And Jake would be like, wrap it up, you got to get out of here. And I'd be like, well,
he was like,
we didn't even get to hang out. And he's like, there's no hanging out. If we're hanging out, that baby's coming out.
Yeah, we didn't hang out at all, and I missed it. I miss seeing everybody because that's
you're so social.
Yeah,
you're a social person. Okay, last one for this little note card. One value that will always matter, whether she's in boots or ballet slippers.
Kindness. Being kind. I got her a book the other day. that's like Livy is Kind is the name of the book. Is this about Livy or is this just in general?
Yeah. No, this is about Livy.
Make it about Livy.
Like, it's about Livy, right?
I meant an attribute in general, not specific for Livy. Being kind is important no matter what you do. Being kind to everybody, no matter whether you're, like you said, in ballet slippers, whether you're on the ranch, no matter what, it's important to be kind. And it's just the right thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Simple. You don't have to explain why.
No, exactly. So we still have about 10 more minutes to chat it up here. I kind of want to go back to some of maybe your favorite memories on the road. I know even like whether it's us working together or, any of your TV memories, it could be vast, and then we'll hone it down obviously to Ranch Her episodes, but you kind of already talked about that. Some of my favorite was obviously doing the tailgate show, just one-on-one with you. We started that out in 2020, but then like you and I got to a place where then it was just you and I hosting, and that was so fun. But we were at NCBA and we went to Epcot together because you and I both are Disney lovers. And I love that.
That just because it wasn't very long ago. It was like April of last year, wasn't it?
Yeah. That was so fun.
Oh, it was so much fun. And we were at Disney. Epcot, I can't believe we did that because it was not convenient at all.
It wasn't convenient. We could have just went to dinner after the convention, after working
all day and doing all these interviews. And we're like, well, we've got 2 hours. Should we go to Disney World?
I was like, Janie, let's go drink around the world. I'd love to have a sake with you in Japan.
And then I forgot my ID.
Yeah, you did. That's right.
Old, and I just wanted to have a glass of wine in Italy at Epcot like an adult, and I had to try to get it, and they wouldn't give me wine. So Kirbe, you had to, I don't know if this is appropriate to put on the podcast, but you had to go buy me a glass of wine and sneak it to me like I was a teenager.
I did, but don't worry, everyone. She is over 21.
I'm 30. To break it to you. Now, so okay.
I know she is over 21.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. What's been some of your most fun memories? I don't know, just throughout the years on the road. You have so many. I mean, there's so many stories.
There are so many. And, a lot of it is just the initial start of going on the road with the start of Cowboy Channel. Just a general memory of what that felt like and what that meant for the industry. And I think that we were all just so exhausted because there weren't that many of us and we were all on the road, and nobody had ever done it before, so there was no precedent for what needed to look like what, and we were all together. I mean, a lot of this crew here that's on Dirt Diaries right now behind the scenes, they were on the road, they've done it, and they all feel the chaos, the exhaustion, but the excitement, and of just this new era of the Western industry, and that I'll never forget that feeling of all of us. And on the tailgate show, that same energy was there. This has never been done in the Western industry yet. Yeah. And we were one of the first ones to do that show. And then same with the RanchHER FarmHER thing. Women feel that same energy of this has never been done before. No one's ever asked me about my life on the ranch or my life on the farm. And I guess it's just something that I feel Rural Media Group really started, and I think anyone who's been a part of that family, that I feel once you're in it, we're all a part of a family forever.
Yeah, for sure.
I could run into you 20 years from now, which is we'd still be in touch, obviously, but
but still.
Yes, I remember it's just a bonding experience that we'll all share forever, and I feel it with the RanchHER team just as much as I do with the Rodeo Cowboy Channel side of it, and those are the memories I won't ever forget, especially when I see any of you anywhere. Because we
went through some highs, but hey, people, we went through some lows together. They were low. I was not always the best version of myself. I know I looked at Jake at one point. I was in Sikeston, Missouri. I'll never forget it. And I'll just be honest with everyone. All I really wanted in that moment was a Busch Light. I love a good Busch Light beer. I want to crack that baby open. I looked at Jake and he was like, looks like you're about to rip somebody's head off. And I was like, I think I am. I'm not that person. You're right. I'm not this person, but in Sikeston, Missouri, I think I got bed bugs. There's just a lot happening there. Ugh.
Everywhere we went, it was just what are we doing? But we don't know. And we went on air and we did it live.
And we did it. That's all that matters is we did it. If we made it happen. Yeah.
And I feel we'll always remember it. It seems not very long ago. The tailgate show, just we're not sure what's happening. Our ears aren't working. We have no idea what's coming up next, but we were fine because we were up there together and we could just look at each other and just, Phil.
Just go for it and talk. I will say this, one of my favorite moments too, and obviously it includes you, but here I am talking about Jake a lot, was when Jake won Pendleton this year. And I was just there as a friend watching rodeo, loving, I love Pendleton. And I was like, this is the coolest thing to see my friend's husband win. And like, that was so exciting. That was so fun.
I was just there wifing it.
Yeah.
I don't go to very many rodeos, like just as the rodeo wife. I mean, I really don't. I think that was like my first one in years. Other than like maybe one down the street. And I was like, I'm going to Pendleton. And anybody who's been to Pendleton knows it is not an easy place to get to. You have to, catch this flight and that flight and then a shuttle bus to this other little flight. And then, and you can't get an Airbnb. Like it's impossible. But yeah, I went. I was pregnant. It was so fun. I will remember that forever. That was really cool. And it was honestly so fun because your whole group is there and like you've all known Jake and I for forever. And just like the excitement from all the friends, it was just fun.
So cool. That was watching him win, that was so fun. Okay, has there ever been a moment on camera where you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I just asked that question or said that?
Oh gosh, yes. Like every day of my life. People ask me all the time, they're like, oh yeah, so like when you go on TV and you like go back and like watch, to learn from your mistakes. I'm like, no, never. I
know. I never watch it either because I was like, I made that mistake. I'm going to probably make it again. I don't need to relive
I'm going to relive that mistake in, at midnight in bed over and over and over for the rest of my life. No, I'm not actually that bad about it, but I don't watch myself back ever. If I make a mistake, I definitely know. And there's so many just terrible, like little things, just give brain moments. Heck, at the American just a couple weeks ago, I said something really stupid on live TV. It's not funny. I was talking about, I shouldn't even just point out my mistake here. I was talking about Caleb Driggers, who had won the American more than anybody ever. I go, he's won it 4 times total, and then he ended up winning it that year, so now he's won it 5 times. He's won it 4 times total. He's won it twice with Junior Nogueira and twice with somebody else.
And that's what you said. Yes.
I said because I just completely I set myself up to make the mistake because I knew who it was. I knew it was Patrick Smith and Travis Graves. See, I'm making that correction now for the world who's watching Dirt Diaries.
Everyone, yes, right there.
I know who it was. In the moment, I just had a moment of just brain bubble, and I was like, somebody else. Anyways, back to Kill Driggers.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
I just like that all the time. And RanchHER is edited, so
that is nice.
Times where I've had to watch the edit, and I have to call, one of our producers and be like, "Hey, do you mind taking that out? Like, I look absolutely ridiculous."
Oh, I've done that so many times. We were on one of the last ones. I told Johnny, I was like, can you change that? I know I said other things, and he sent me 4 clips of the same. He goes, no, you said the same dumb thing every time. So I just picked the nicest dumb version of this. And I was like, wow, I'm not that dumb, am I? Oh, wait, I did sound pretty dumb there, but what can you do?
That was honestly the answer I got most of the time too. I'd be like, hey, can you take that out? And they'd be like, no, we like it. It's funny.
It's funny.
Okay.
Is it? Okay. It's funny. Oh my gosh. Well, okay. We're wrapping up here pretty soon, but I guess you get this question quite a bit, I'm sure, from a lot of, especially young women. If they want to be in this career field, what is the advice that you would give them?
I do get that question a lot. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a 2-part answer because I've put a lot into it. The first one is try to find a connection with anybody, whether it's somebody that is in the job, somebody that that is involved, an employee. Try to get connected with them, number 1. And then number 2, when you do get connected with them, don't be afraid to take the lowest job or the lowest internship on the totem pole and just own it. Whether it's being an intern, whether, you're not above any position. You're not above anybody. Even whenever you do move up, you're still not above anybody. And I really do think that's what a lot of people struggle with is they don't want to have to go get coffee for a year. get coffee for people and take notes for people and follow people around. But that's so important. And it ended up being some of the most fun, enjoyable learning experiences of my whole career was getting Butch Knowles coffee and his day sheet.
I'll go get Butch Knowles coffee. I love Butch.
And I'm like, hey, do you want me to go get your timed event sheets from the secretary just for old time's sake? And he's like, no, Janie, you have a job now. Like, dang it, I do. But it's true, though. I think that if you can kind of work your way into that, but when you present yourself to these people that you connect with, you definitely need to express, like, maybe you want to be on camera, but you're not going to start out that way. And you shouldn't. If I was on camera in the beginning, it would have been a very short career. It's so bad. So you need to be humbled in that and know that it's a gift to start from the bottom.
Yeah, I agree with you. I like that. That's great advice. And a part of this being the Dirt Diaries is at some point in your life, I mean, whether you had one or your mom had one or a friend had one, we all had a diary that we wrote in, right? Or we wanted to read somebody's diary. I mean, I had diaries growing up. I stopped that when I got to college because, there's just some boys when you're 14, 15 that broke your heart. And I'm like, why was I crying over you, Brad Sapp? I hope he doesn't listen to this because he wasn't worth that cry. But, it's just moments like that. But if you were to have a diary today and you were to read it, what is something you wish you would have wrote back in the day? Or what's something you wish you would put in today for maybe Olivia to read years from now?
When I was a kid and I had a diary, I'm pretty sure I wanted to be Hillary Duff so bad.
Oh. Lizzie McGuire.
Yeah, I wanted to be Lizzie McGuire. Or Lindsay Lohan.
Oh, hey, she looks great now.
She had a comeback. She had an incredible comeback.
She had a comeback.
Lindsay for sure. But there for a while, it was looking a little rough.
Yeah.
But now she looks great. So maybe it's not bad to aspire to. But I'm pretty sure I didn't realize that every single girl at the age of 12 wanted to be Hillary Duff or Lindsay Lohan at the time. But I thought it was just me. But I guess if I could just put a little note of, whether it, like you said, the 12-year-old boy that breaks your heart because he likes the other girl in class, or whether you wanted to be a movie star, but it's just not happening because you're in Canyon, Texas, that it really all is going to work out, and it's going to work out better than you could have ever imagined. And so maybe just try to enjoy it because you only get to do your childhood once. You only get to do, being a teenager. And it's kind of the same thing as what I said about with old jobs, like being that kid or being the low person on the totem pole. All that ends up being the greatest memories of your life. So you don't want to skip through it.
Yeah, I love that. All right. Janie, I feel like we could do this all day because
we could.
We have before. Actually, we have for hours and hours, but we are limited to time here. But thank you so much for just chatting with us here at the Dirt Diaries. Janie Johnson Finlay from Canyon, Texas. She is, Miss America in my eyes, just used to be Miss Rancher, but thank you for passing that torch back to me.
Always. You carry it. You shine so bright.
Thank you. And you keep shining. And again, thank you for just being yourself as always and sharing so many great stories with us here on the Dirt Diaries.
Bye, Kirby.
Bye-bye. That's it for today's episode of Dirt Diaries, where the women of ag leave no story untold. If you loved what you heard, be sure to subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with someone else. Until next time, keep showing up, speaking out, and getting your hands dirty.